Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So really quick, I didn't expect for us to pass 500 subscribers so quickly. I actually, if you're watching this, and I'm probably already like a little more advanced than, like would, when I'm recording, I'm probably like 2 or 3 episodes more in advance, right? So I hope that we've at least gotten to 600. Regardless, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm really happy to have such a really good and awesome community. So for 1,000 subs, I'll go ahead and do a voice reveal. We'll make that a big event. I'll have the other wizard come on and we'll do voice reveals. We'll do a bunch of different things there. So it'll be fun. Anyway, let me go ahead and not keep you waiting. Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. ReZero episode 3 for season 2. Let's go. So it's the Witch of Greed, right? Oh, shit. I don't know about that, but... Whoa. Okay. So, before we continue, right, with the Windows 95 theme and everything here, isn't that something, though? To all of a sudden have the witches, or have this witch in particular, still here. So my mind automatically goes into two things, which is number one, what is the effect of having a witch still alive? And number two, how is it that the witch can go ahead and contact them, right? We've already seen, at least through like when his battle with like the white whale, when I guess it was Satala, right? Was the one that was like whispering in his ear and like manifesting herself more and more. Even throughout the battle with Betelgeuse, like she manifested herself inside, of course, to Betelgeuse himself, but nonetheless, like, there's been more and more clarification on that. So, for another witch to go ahead and, like, come up and show up, isn't that, like, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, I'd say, for a lot of people? It's a lot to take in. So, I just wonder, right? If you're the Witch of Greed, what is your intent? Why are you friendly? And, like, shouldn't you know more as to what's happening than you're letting on? Oh, is it just like a soul? Nice. Yo, that looks like some good ass tea, I'm not gonna lie. But hot tea on... Wait. Oh no. Sorry, I had to stop it right there. He's very brazenly drinking the tea, right? Something that I've learned, at least through watching season 1, is like Tappe loves to hide messages in the way that characters interact with one, right? And like with the Echidna, like just right off the bat, something that I'm noticing is like her facial reactions don't match the tonality of her voice, right? So it seems as though for me as a psychologist looking in, she's masking. So, like, it's like appealing to a person's desire to try and get something out of it. And I just wonder what that is. And also, Subaru is just like going in there very brazenly, sort of like taking an impact or taking a look and just going through with it. Right, you know what? She can go ahead and kill you. I absolutely agree with your sentiment there. And like, but the thing is, maybe coming off of the one with Betelgeuse has given you a little bit more bravery than wary than you should like I don't know have at the moment. You should be very wary of someone strong enough to pull you into another dimension. That's yeah. Oh. So I'm gonna keep count of how many times it's happened. That's twice, right? Which is where they say something that shouldn't bring out the emotion of laughter. It's like a very weird cognitive distortion, right? And you'll often see this in people that have these walls built up, that have, like, they're displaying something. I call them, like, masking barriers, right? So she said, like, oh, you know what? People usually throw up when they see me. Oh, yeah, but, like, is that really something to laugh at? That's, yeah. Oh. Okay. At what price, though? I was right. Whoa. There's so many names being thrown. Time to fill the world with love. Wrath? Beckman? Oh, damn. Interesting. So, and I'm taking that in because that was a lot of information to just be thrown all at once, right? But in moments like this, you actually get to see a true moment of their persona. My thing is, what narrative is she spinning at this point in time, right? Number one, even if she... I have questions, but I feel as though if I asked him... Of course, please don't spoil anything, guys. I actually do have mods that go ahead and skim through the comments and delete them as soon as they're aware. Once I post a video, I don't check it because apparently there's been a lot of spoilers in the comments lately. Try not to spoil it, guys. You know, I'm going through episode by episode and I'm doing my best, but this is really interesting. So, in a narrative structure, right, the way that you tell a story is very dependent on sort of your schema, your worldview. And the way that, like, everyone else is built up, right? It's like they've done this great things, but this shitty thing happened. But yet for the witch, you know, for Satala, it's just like, yeah, she ate us, the most detestable one of them all, type of thing. And it's like, but why? You know, we keep getting these glimpses as though she is this horrible individual, but yet if she's so horrible, why does she allow someone like Subaru to come into this world and literally keep fixing all the wrongs? This is why it's making me wonder what the 5D players are. And clearly, as, like, I feel like the other witches did not fall into the category or weren't smart enough to figure out sort of what was going on. And this is kind of like a sad moment where it feels though like they were either corrupted, they did something, they think that they were doing it for like the benefit of mankind, but were really like deterring mankind, and sort of the evil witch had to step in, and then the evil witch got killed or sealed or whatever, right? So it's sort of like a one eats the other thing, because she made an enemy of the world, but who was the enemies that she was facing? And you could say, oh, well, you know, it was the hero, the sage, and the dragon. Okay, yeah, they're the ones that sealed her, but why was she fighting in the first place? You know, the way that I'm hearing this is as though there's two different sides to this witch, to the witch of envy. Yes, that's a lot. It seems as though on one side, you know, with Subaru at least, she's very caring, very, you know, loving, maybe even to the point of like extreme. And then on the other side, I'm hearing the story where like she will literally try and destroy the entire world for her own benefit, so on and so forth. So, interesting. Yeah, you might have pushed the envelope a little. Oh. Literally me with all the information she just dropped. Okay, so she's aware. Whoa, whoa. Feel like once again it's sort of that experience where like every once in a while he's able to catch her off guard and her emotions become realistic. So this is now making me wonder, right? Because the way that she's speaking, the way that she's leading certain things on is a very, I don't know how to put it, very fragmented, right? It's like, oh, this is from my soul escaped, you know, the tombstone, whatever, and then she just like keeps going down her path. Which, I mean, Sure, but the way that you're giving out information is you're literally laying it on thick. It's sort of like a doorknob confession. If you're ever in therapy, you can get this a lot near the end of a like therapeutic session, which is like as soon as they're leaving, they're like, "Oh, and by the way, all of this negative stuff happened," and you're like, "Wait, in the previous hour, or like throughout the hour, you said that everything was great, and you just mentioned all of that as you were leaving." Uh, it's also a way to distill a person, sort of prepare them for a request that someone's going to ask, right? So, is this necessarily a bad thing, or is she presenting herself as necessarily an evil person? I don't think so. So far, so far. However, is this very manipulative? Yeah, it sort of reminds me of Roswaal, if I'm being honest. Oh, there you go. There you go. Interesting. Okay, that's shady. The right to face the trial. The glint in her eyes, it's like changes color and everything. It's crazy. I doubt that. Alright, before we continue, I wonder if she's actually met up with the Sin Archbishop of Greed. And if that's the case, was she the one that gave him the title? So how are titles, and this is something I keep coming to, right? How are titles given or created or done or whatever, right? We got a glimpse of sort of the titles of the spirits in Frozen Bonds. But in terms of like a witch being a witch, how do you get the title of a witch in the first place? An archbishop being an archbishop, who gave them the title of an archbishop? If it was after the death of the witches, then someone else is clearly doing the giving of the names, right? If it was during, then they meet up with each specific witch in order to get that title. And this is bringing up so many questions, right? For example, like, okay, I'll put a pin on this and I'll come back through it as I like formalize my thoughts, because I feel it's too early for me to like be trying to compile all the like I'm like filling in a lot of blanks where I shouldn't be filling in blanks at the moment, and I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to make guesses, because if you assume, you make an ass out of you and me, so I'm not going to go ahead and do that. But what I am going to say is like it feels as though there's a lot of purposefully missing information. The way that she's acting right now with Subaru, it's as though she knows the difference in power dynamic, and as though she's emphasizing the fact that he's the one that has to complete the trial. What the trial is, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just as lost as pretty much everyone else. However, I will say this, right? What are expectations therefore, if not to try and change them in your own way, right? And this is something that I think all of us have encountered at some point or another, and I think this is where, her being greedy, and I guess being a little greedy with setting those expectations on someone who clearly didn't even want to be in this tea party to begin with, right? Is sort of where it gets interesting. Because when people set expectations on me, yeah, no, I'll do my best to like reach them. However, if it's not something that I agreed to personally, I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna reach your expectations. I'm gonna do it my own way, like it or hate it. And I think this is a point of content, right? Or a point where there might be a lot of difficulty going forward. Because if people are setting, these expectations on Subaru to go ahead and do certain things, like, okay, your soul is in the sanctuary. What is your ultimate goal? What is the trial in the first place? Sorry, guys. I'm like literally confused. Is she trying to like I don't know. Like, if is she trying to find like a vessel? Like, is she just trying to like possess like Subaru the way that like Betelgeuse did? But that wouldn't make sense because like he just got transported into her world, and she'd be able to just take over his body like that if she's that powerful enough to just pull him. So clearly, he's not like a suitable placement for her. So then, what is she looking for? Huh? I don't know. Well, we'll go ahead and continue. Sorry, guys. This is my brain at work. Oh. The teeth. Oh. Let's go. Best girl Petrage. Ah. Alright, she's just passed out. Oh no. Oh no. He just suplexed a dragon? Damn. What the fuck is this? Dude. Oh. Oh. I thought it was gonna be a big ass like orange cat. Luckily it is. Luckily it is, you know, they do look similar enough. That's great. Oh. Oh. His eyes. The way that he keeps avoiding the subject about his sister when like most people would try and like divulge more information or get more information. I'm just wondering about their relationships in general. What is his attachment style in general, you know? Fair. Okay. Oh wow. Dead end testing ground. Ah, Ram. Yes. She's great. Oh, okay, so this is where Roswaal was. Well, let's see what he's been up to, because, like, he just completely disappeared for the Betelgeuse part. Aww. Aww. Otto needs a hug. Aww. Wait, she's not gonna remember though, right? Talk about this show bringing it in instead of out, you know. Oh, it'll be your meat shield. Not the best usage of word. What the fuck? Nah, that's some shady ass shit. Nah. Nah. There are things I can believe and there are things I can't believe, right? You're telling me that the individual that literally got into a fight with Puck, right, and didn't get a scratch on him, or was literally going through and just like blowing up all the mob beasts in the forest, and like has gotten on one-on-ones with like Beako, is this heavily injured? What the fuck is this bullshit? Yeah. Ew, who could have hurt you? An archbishop? No, 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 no. Let him get into it. Let him get into it. You guys are skipping the conversation. Let him explain. I want to know why he's hurt. Because I ain't buying his fucking manipulative ass. Like, he could be telling us, like, he got hurt by tripping. He fell. He fell off of the floors in the mansion and he got hurt on his way to the sanctuary or some shit. Like, no. 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 Bullshit. I'll call it out. Unless it's an archbishop, in which case I'll be like, oh, hands off. Bro, why are you being a creep? Yeah, that's... Why, though? Oh, why are you so possessive, dude? Coming from you? But it turns out that, like, he's like an archbishop too, but like, not through like Satella, but through like Echidna. I'm gonna freak the fuck out. Like, no. No. He's being so creepy about this. Yeah, please. Why are you avoiding the question? What? Oh no. He got rejected by the trial, so he got hurt. Yet his family has run this place for generations, so he should know how to beat this trial or how to do certain things in this domain. Yet somehow he got more injured than when he fought with some of the legendary beasts and a great spirit. Okay, yeah, no, sure, fine. I'll believe it at face value, but deep inside, know that I'm criticizing the shit out of it because no place, you know, especially someone as conniving as him, would I expect him to get as hurt as, like, you know, all bandaged up the way that he is right now. That's a bit strange. Wait, so Roswaal's mixed blood? I got chills just thinking about this. So in episode 1 we see, or episode 2, I'm sorry, with Federica, we actually see her with the note that Ram gave her that she never opened up. So she was given specific orders from Roswaal to ask Emilia and Subaru to go into the sanctuary. But yet the only way to liberate the sanctuary is by going through this trial. Is this a setup essentially? Like, are they setting like them up in order to like fail? This is so five head, four head. I don't even know how many heads. Like, it's just like blah, blah, like insane. Like, if someone can actually go ahead and think about all of this, like it's someone that has had a plan, like a long game for a while. This is crazy. I'm shook. And what about you, dude? Oh, you're demanding shit now. That's some fucked up shit right there, man. Also, how did word get out to Federica? You know, that doesn't even. If Roswaal went directly to the sanctuary, he must have been able to get out in order to go ahead and tell her, right? Unless she was in the sanctuary and then the sanctuary closed when she got out. I'm lost. Let's go, dude. Good for her for actually being able to like speak up. Oh, oh, oh. Wow. Oh, that's beautiful. Wow. Yeah, character development. Damn, look at her. I'm pretty sure this part is all gonna be like cut because copyright for music. I now understand Crave. Ooh, ooh, let's go. Oh, oh, did the trial already end? Is this Echidna? Oh shit! You need to face your own past. What is this therapy? Wait, is he back in his own world? I already like him. Oh, wait, what? First, you need to face your own past. Oh, shit. Okay. All right. I mean, that's sort of what a therapist does, but all right. That's. Whew. All right, there's a lot to dissect in this episode. First off, let's talk about power dynamics, right? And I know I bring this up every so often, but it's important to go ahead and like look into that, right? So power dynamics in general always comes into play whether you're at work, whether you have friendships, whatever, right? It's usually a power over, power under situation. And in case you don't know what that means, if you currently work, then you have a boss and they have a power over you, right? So you're more inclined to do stuff for that person because they're in that position of power. However, if there's someone on the power under, it's a lot harder for you to go ahead and, you know, it takes a lot more out of you empathetically to go ahead and like do those requests. Where you have to be more empathetic to go ahead and like help those with the power under to try and get to the same state as you, right? So when I look at this, it just seems as though like Give me a second. I'm gonna see if I can actually pull up this thing here. Erase that. Un poquito de mi madness. And then you guys will be like, oh no, Edgar really is crazy. And I'm gonna be like, yeah, just a bit. I mean, most therapists are. That's just the hidden luck of the gem. So this is what I do for every single individual, right? We're gonna make this color red, right? This color is for Roswaal. And Roswaal is an individual, right? We're gonna add in another layer. Plop, plop, plop. This is his innermost layer, at least that we know of so far. Right? So who are some of the people there? And we're actually going to make this layer white, because why not? It's going to help us out as we go through. So some of the people there in the centermost layer are people that he interacts with, family, friends, people that he's taking care of. So we can put, for example, we can definitely put Amelia. We'll put Beko just because she's a part of that family tree, or in the family mansion. We'll put Ram. And I guess now we can put Subaru because these are like people that are known, right? I guess you can put Federica, especially since she used to be a maid for him. And I guess I don't know if Garfield is the same as them, but why not? We're all taking part in this journey together. Okay, so these are the people that revolved that we. Oh, and Puck. How could I forget Puck? That we know of so far, right? And you guys are probably gonna be like, "Oh, you're insane, man! How can you do stuff like this?" Now, for each one of these names, right, I have a circle developed for each one of them, along with descriptions as to what the relationships are and whatnot. I'm just simplifying this just for the purpose of you guys knowing what I'm doing and specifically why I'm doing certain things. Oh, first off, I wanted black, but I also wanted a circle like that. Perfect. To be, there we go. We'll go orange, right? So in this world, we'll even put it gray just so that there's more of a picture. Sorry, it's not symmetrical. This will probably trigger a lot of people just by that. What is going on in this world, right? And this is sort of like the next step. What is his job title, right? So he's a magician who apparently takes care of the sanctuary. Sanctuary. Sorry if it's misspelled. Just know that I'm doing this just like a brief one, just so you guys have an understanding as to how my mind works. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be really hard for you guys to see, but you guys can go ahead and go along with the way I'm typing things out, right? I would assume that he's also a part of this noble society, right? And because he's a part of this noble society, he also, he has other roles, such as what is it, running his domain, right? What else would you guys put in there? Rating, right? Because he has to maintain sort of the environment. What else? What else does he do? I don't know. We'll keep that one short and simple, right? So next one, we'll go ahead and make the screen. Now this is where stuff starts to get interesting, right? You guys are probably like, man, you're insane. So, who influenced them? These are just influences. Question mark. How did Roswaal become Roswaal? Right? What is the environment he's in? Is he looked upon favorably, unfavorably? Why is he looked upon in that way? Down here at the bottom, we can go put reputation. What is his reputation among others? How is that being held? Is he held to a high regard? Is he not? And then on the right-hand side, we can go ahead and put something like, what are his attachments? To who, why, where, why, how, all of those questions. And last but not least, We have there's these circles can go on forever, and usually it gets like wider and wider, which is sort of like this last circle that I'm ending on. Of course, I do go 7 more circles in deep. This is just sort of like a quick one, just so that you guys have an understanding as to how I come to certain conclusions and how these conclusions are able to go ahead and work, right? And you could even put in, for example, in some of these layers, even like his dress. Why does he dress a certain way? Why does he talk a certain way? And like link them through, right? Like, for example, does he talk the same way that he talks to Subaru, the way that he talks to Ram or to Puck or to Berko, right? Like, what are the different ways that he's talking? Is that because it's affecting the sanctuary? Is it because it's affecting like his trading opportunities, his domain, him as a magician or him as a noble, right? And if that's affecting the way that it's like how he is as a noble, if we're going to go like, for example, he talks to Subaru the way that he does because of his noble position, then what influences did he have that like made him talk this way? Is it his teachers in the past? Is it his parents? Is it whatever, right? Or is he talking to Subaru in that way because he's a noble because of his environment? And in which case, isn't that environment something that he's able to control? And that's already a contradiction in of itself, right? Because his environment and him being sort of like the master of a domain should be something that goes hand in hand. So therefore, you can start making certain references and certain like influences off of those decisions. And this is what we do in therapy, right? In case you guys don't know, like a good therapist should be able to sit down and do a Brofenbrenner theory, an ecological theory of their clients and be able to go out and then come back in. And this is how you start making, there's a cognitive disassociation, there's cognitive biases here, there's certain things that like add up and don't add up, right? And for this final one, we're going to go ahead and put a couple of the major plot holes that I think we all know about. Not really plot holes, but like just things. I guess I'm going to go with black just because it's an easy color, which is sort of like the politics of the nation that you're serving under. Why are you there, sort of thing. Apparently the witches, like, did the witches have any, or witch cult, I guess by that nature, yeah, have any influence in where you are today or your trading opportunities or any of that? What else would I put? The economic standing of just the country that you're in. And last but not least, your goals. What is your end goal? And, goals sort of can spread throughout like all of this, and they usually go in between circles and whatnot. I could put it like sort of in between like influences and like their job titles or stuff like that, right? But just for the purpose of this, right? This is, you could also put power, like actual strength or whatever. But like you can start making certain traits like this and start going down. So for example, right, is Roswaal, let's go down this route, right? Is Roswaal going to go ahead and get politically involved? Like, would he go ahead and get in a war or, start a war or anything like that? Well, let's look at this tree, right? So Roswaal, we can skip the immediate attachments because it has nothing to do with that. But, or yeah, actually it does, Emilia, right? Because the royal selection candidate. So boom, Emilia, boom, he's a noble and a magician, right? So what is his immediate like reputation and influences? Well, if he's a magician and he's a nobleman, or if he's able to go in where these noblemen are enough for him to have a domain, which is another one in the circle, then clearly he has a reputation to uphold, and clearly there are influences of stuff that he knows, like certain things that he's trying to influence his own direction to influence his goal, which is like the big purple one. And there's politics involved in there. How does that affect overall? It affects the economy, which goes back down into his own reputation, maybe even creating more attachments, affecting his trading, his domain, probably being able to get more influence for the sanctuary, and affecting all of the attachments there. So that's how we literally went in, out, and back in, right? So we know that if there was a war raging, he would more than likely get involved and try to do something. So why did I do this? Well, I did this to go ahead and illustrate a point, right? I do this for every single character, and I actually have like a notebook filled with like a bunch of different little circles going out, going in. I actually even have like the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you guys need to research that, feel free to Google that. And you guys will literally see me listing out like sort of like have they met certain requirements to actually be in a self-fulfillment level. And it's wild to me, right? To go ahead and see Tape go ahead and like hit a lot of these points, right? For example, if Subaru is not resting well at all, then you know that he's at the lowest need, like in the triangle, he's at the lowest need where he's not getting like security at all. He's not sleeping, he's not eating well. He's more than likely not going to succeed in this run. He's more than likely going to push people away. Why? Because he doesn't even have time to process information that is being thrown at him right there and then, right? Only at the very end when he's pushed, you know, to a certain point where he realizes it, and then boom, he starts taking care of himself. Boom, he starts relying on others. And like you can start making certain adjustment on characters, and it's just insane to think about the amount of quality and the amount of information that, and luckily I don't have nosebleed. For those of you that don't know, once I start doing a lot of these things, I start to get nosebleeds because my brain is like connecting a lot of dots, like too many dots, too many hidden little secrets that are left throughout the story. But I just thought I should leave this in. Let me know if you guys actually like stuff like this. And I'll go ahead and make more of them as like episodes continue. I might even be able to make like a character analysis just based off of like some of the different like models, and you guys can learn a little bit more about this. This one, for example, is called Bronfenbrenner's Ecological Theory, and it's just a good example, if you ever want to get into psychology, of how you can use some of the boring stuff that they teach you in the textbooks into anime and get something out of it. Anyway, there was a lot to learn, there was a lot to talk about, and as I said, there's a lot of power dynamics at work. And I think one key thing there, let me take this off the screen, is sort of like how, who, what, where, why, how, right? And I think in this situation in particular, like, Echidna is clearly calling the shots. And I wonder why she's trying to force Subaru to take this trial. It seems as though there's like, she wants things to go a certain way, but I wonder what the struggle there is going to be, right? Because in a way, if Subaru gets too involved, it's also sort of like downplaying Emilia's importance. Like, is Echidna a bad person, or do I perceive her to be a bad person? No. I perceive her to be sort of like an animal that's been pushed up against a wall, and it's sort of like masking. And that sounds really bad for me to put it this way, but if you ever felt like you don't, like, you know, you've tried to reach out, you've tried to do a lot of things, people become experts at masking, people become experts at like manipulating certain situations to get what they want. And this is sort of what I'm getting out of Echidna. You know what, she might be the witch of greed, and like this might be a moment of selfishness in her regard, but what does this come to? What is her goal? And you know what, I might just do a circle for her next time, you know, and try and see sort of what the overall impact is, or as soon as we start getting more information as to what her attachments are and whatnot. So we can do certain things like that. Anyway, I hope you guys liked this episode. I hope you guys like some of the commentary and some of the more psychological elements to this. I appreciate you guys so much. Follow, like, subscribe. It helps the channel grow. You know, share this video around if you guys truly enjoyed it. I appreciate you guys so much. Join us on Discord. I'm always there. We're always talking. I'm coming up with some wild theories on there, and yeah, that's just the best way that I can put it. I appreciate you guys a lot. Practice that self-care. Remember to get some good sleep. If you can't, polyphasic sleep is important, you know. Practice, you know, make sure that you guys eat something and try and sleep well. Even if that's like 2 hours, 3 hours for you. But yeah, join us on Discord. I love you guys so much.